Hey everyone, welcome to your next installment of the GoldenGate Tech Talk series. This is your source for informative and timely tech topics about GoldenGate software, data replication, and cloud data integration. The industry leading data replication software for more than 20 years, GoldenGate is still innovating today and helping thousands of leading brands get the most business value out of their data. As a multi-cloud capable replication engine, GoldenGate helps customers maintain seamless integration across their public clouds. But what makes GoldenGate really special is the breadth and attention to enterprise-class solutions for databases, cloud, big data, NoSQL, and streaming technologies of all kinds, not just Oracle. GoldenGate's rock-solid foundation is the best-in-class for data high availability, high-speed transaction replication, and data warehouse loading. But modern data challenges require the most innovative solutions, and GoldenGate delivers on world-class data lake ingestion, stream data processing for real-time ETL, and advanced stream analytics that include geofencing, time series processing, and machine learning integrations. As a platform for modern data integration, GoldenGate just can't be beat. Well, that's about it for the intro. Let's get on with today's tech topic.
Hello everyone, this is Werner again, and today I'm going to show everyone how to use the GoldenGate provision from the marketplace to configure a simple replication. Before I start, I want to show you the diagram of the configuration I'm going to do today. So as you know, the marketplace, once you provision the GoldenGate, you automatically get a GoldenGate microservice architecture running in a VM. This microservice architecture, you can use that to capture the change data from a source database and push the change to the target database. So what we're going to do today is very simple. We're going to use the extract running in the GoldenGate microservice architecture to do the remote capture from a source database, which is actually a DBAS instance running in OCI. And then we're going to push the capture data into another DBAS instance running in OCI, and that will be the target DB. So it's quite simple, and right now I'm just using one microservice architecture. So you do the remote capture, remote deliver. Of course, no, these two databases, they can be anywhere, right? They don't have to be in the Oracle cloud. It can even be on-premise or on the third-party cloud, as long as you can access those databases through the SQLnet. So this is a quick overview of what I'm trying to do today. Okay, and so let's now go back to where we are here. So this is already a microservice architecture already up and running, and this is the environment you're probably already familiar with. If you do not know how to provision the GoldenGate Marketplace, there's another video which you can check on the detailed steps. Today, I assume you already have the instance provision and up running. And you can also SSH into that microservice architecture's VM. So here I already SSH into that VM. So if this is the first time you are using this, you probably have a bunch of questions saying, okay, so how do I find out where is the IP address for this microservice architecture so I can log on to the web's interface? So this is already done in the particular microservice architecture. Once you provision that, the information is actually inside the compute. You should be able to find IP address, and then just use that IP address, you will be able to log in. So here I already use a host name. I put the IP address, map this host name, which called OGG MP0710PHX. So for example, here, if you type in this particular host name, okay, and it will actually bring up this interface. Since I already logged in, and you will not be able to see the login screen, but if this is the first time you go there, it will pop up the microservice login screen. You just have to use the OGG admin user ID and the password to log in. If this first time you use that, the admin user ID and password is actually in the JSON file inside your home directory. So once you log in, you do this, you will see there's a OGG credential.json file. This file actually has the OGG admin and user ID and password. And I'm not going to show this because it has my own user ID password. But what I can show you is the original one, which I renamed because I did a password reset. So if you look at this original one, I'll just want to show you the format of that. And you will see basically it tells you, hey, that's the username's OGG admin, and credential basically is password. This is a system generated password. So use that, you can log in, and then you can go change your password. So that's how I log into my GoldenGate microservice. And once I log in, you will see there are actually two deployments, right? One is called the deployment Oracle 12c, another deployment is Oracle 18c. And today we're going to use this 12c because all my source and the target database, they are running on 12c. So to do that, I need to go to the administrator server. That is where I'm going to configure the extract and replicate. So here again, this is the login screen you will see, and you use the same user ID and password to log in. And once you log into that, you will see right now everything is clean, right? I don't have anything. And ignore all this error message here. Those are from the original testing I did before. So right now we have no extract, no replicate. And to configure the extract and replicate, the first step we need to do is we need to configure all the credentials, like the GoldenGate user login, user ID and password. But there are a lot of questions being asked saying, how do I configure those credential store? So in the microservice architecture, you go to this hamburger menu, click on configuration, and that brings you into this credential interface, allow you to create all the database user ID login and give the alias, which you can use later. Some people are also trying to use the TNS name. So the question is where the TNS name file is and how can I track it down and put the right TNS name there so I can use the TNS name in this credential configuration. So to find that information is very easy. So you go there, basically you do a PSEF, you do a grep on this. It will show you all the microservices processes running. And from this directory, you can see we have the service manager directory under the U02 deployments. Okay, so you go to that service manager directory, and you'll find there's an etc directory underneath that, and there's a conf directory, and then you will see a deployment registry.dat file. Okay, so here again, this the path is under the U02 deployments service manager etc conf. This is the file which will give you all the information of where all the environmental variable pointing to. So if you cat on this file, it actually will show you the current deployment configuration. And there are two, the deployment Oracle 12c and deployment Oracle 18c. So the 12c, you'll see all these OGG home, dat home, etc, all these environment variables. And the one controls the TNS name is this guy. Okay. And also there's Oracle home as well. This is the Oracle 12c client. We have a full client installed in this VM. So whenever you provision the GoldenGate VM, it actually gives you the full client, Oracle client for Oracle 12c, 18c, and the 19c. Okay. So once we find out the TNS admin directory, we can create the TNS names under this particular directory, which I already did ahead of time. And also, a couple of things I did I want to show you is I created a file called Oracle. Okay. I created an environmental variable file called Oracle 12 underscore env. Make my life easier. Basically, I preset the Oracle home variables and set the LD library path, and then I'm adding the Oracle home bin into the path, and then I'm pointing the TNS admin to whatever that deployments directory etc file. So by doing that, I have access all these Oracle 12c client libraries, the executables and the libraries which I'm going to be used later. And so let's take a look at the TNS name in this directory. Oh, I'm sorry, I had to run that first. Okay, now let me do this again. So I already added a bunch of the TNS name entries which I use in my regular testing. And today the testing will be use the source database, which is this guy. This is the source database, the CDB, and my table will reside in the PDB1. Okay, so these two are both from the source. So one is CDB, one is PDB, and PDB is where my source tables are. And then I have the target going to here. This is the CDB, and also the PDB is here. Okay, so I already pre-configured all this TNS name, which is easier for me to use. And then you can actually test that by doing like there's a TNS ping available if you are doing some initially configure all these TNS names, you're not sure if they are correct or not, you can use TNS ping to just verify, make sure all these TNS names are configured correctly. So once this step is done, and I'm going to show you the source tables I'm going to use here. So I have a U3, stand for user 3, and my source is this guy. Okay. These are two small testing tables I'm going to use. This is the legacy GoldenGate testing tables, right? And then on my target, it is this guy. Let me just start another window here. Okay. And target is at. Okay. And the same thing, I have. So those are my source and target tables. And we're going to skip the initial load because that's not necessarily today's focus. All right, today's focus is make sure we can do the online replication. So now we have the source and target table. We go here into the administrator server, and then we have to first on the administrator server to configure a user ID to log into the source database. So, and I will leave that domain empty. It will just automatically use the GoldenGate domain. So the alias, I can call it GG source. So this user ID is going to be used to log into the CDB on the source. Okay, and of course you have to set it up ahead of time. And there's a lot of other requirement on the user ID, like it has to be enabled for the GoldenGate admin, and it has to have a bunch of other privileges, which I'm not going to go through in the detail. It's all documented in GoldenGate manual. If you need the detailed information, you can check this online manual. Okay, so this is my source GoldenGate. And then once you configure that, you can try to log in, see if that works. Okay, so there's a login fail here, which apparently because I didn't specify any TNS name here, right? So I'm just using that example to show you if you hit error message, what kind of error message you will see here. So as I mentioned before, that need to be my source database, which the TNS name is here. Let's go back here. This is the one. This is my source. This is login to CDB. And again, you have to type the password. It doesn't memorize your previous password if you want to change anything, update the alias. Wait again. Okay, so now I put in the TNS name, and let's try to log in again. Okay, this time it's successful. So now we need to enable the trend data for the particular the table I'm trying to capture. And in this particular database, I have the user ID created under the PDB1 directory. So not directory, the PDB1 PDB. So I need to click here and schema name. I have to give it the full PDB name here, which is dot u3. So that's schema name. So basically, I'm doing a schema trend data, right? And okay, so it's added. If you want to check, you can actually come to here to check. You see here, the schema u3 coming out. Again, you need to prefix that with the PDB name here. And it has like 2 tables enabled for the schema trend data. So this is on the source side, we finished the trend data, right? And now we can try to configure the extract because we have the alias, we have the trend data enabled. So we go back to the overview and click add. So we want to use the integrated extract and the process name, we can call it test ext. Okay, and we choose this credential domain, and we just create a GG source, which is the alias, have the cpong GGS, and the trail name can get a name called HH, and trail subdirectory will leave MTS default, and because it's testing, I just set up a small trail file size, and here, so leave everything here, by default. Here is selected PDB container. So this, it will be the PDB container you need to point to because the extract is logging to the CDB, but you have to tell it which PDB is capturing the data from. And this is all the parameter you set. Click next. And then it will allow you to type in the parameter for this extract. So here we will see, we will put in DDL include, so we want to say we want to capture DDL as well, mapped, okay? And then we say table, and we give that the PDB name, which is WDB OCI2 PDB1 dot U3 dot star. Okay, so basically this is the very simple testing extract parameter file. You specify the table list and what kind of DDL you want to capture, right? And you click create and run. So what it's doing right now is in the background, it's logging into the database and trying to register your extract. And it takes a while. The register will have the database dump the dictionary information into the current log, and then it will add the extract and then try to start the extract. And then the extract will use the user ID alias you specified to log into the source database, try to mine the redo logs. Okay, so while this is going on, is doing, can just go here. Normally it will take probably a couple minutes, depends on the database. So it comes back and takes a while for the screen to refresh to show you have an extract here, and then there's a green check mark here, which means hey, it's up and running fine. If you want to check the detail of this extract, you can click on action details, right? And give you all the process information and checkpoint information of this extract, when started, the recovery checkpoint, current checkpoint, all these informations. And there's no statistics because right now, nothing's running. And the parameters, it's the actual parameters, and then the report file. Give you the real-time report file when it started and what parameter to read in, and then how it interpreted those parameters and how to run. So now the extract is configured and running. The next step will be to configure a replicate, right? So to configure replicate, we have to come here. But before we do that again, we have to configure the user credential, the replicate use for this particular replicate. Plus, we have to create the checkpoint table. So we have to create another credential alias. So let's call it GG target for the replicate. And the same thing, I have cpom GGS. Now I need to put in the TNS name. And as I showed you previously, because for the replicate, it's going to log in directly into the target PDB. Okay, so that's why we need to give it the PDB TNS name, which is here. And then the same thing, I have to give it a password. Submit. And then let's see if we can log into this guy. All right, so we're logging successfully into the target database. Now we need to create a checkpoint table first, right? So let's give the name. Okay, so we created a checkpoint table under the cpom GGS schema name. And so this is the preparation work done for the target. Now we need to go back to configure the replicate. So integrated replicate, process name, we got test REP. And the same thing, that under the same GoldenGate domain, we use the GG target. That's the alias. So leave everything by default because we want the trail to start from 00. And the trail name is the extract trail file, which is HH checkpoint table. That's the table we just created. And go to the next. Those other encryption managed options, those are options you can actually do that later, right? For this one, like whether the replica should be auto started, auto restarted, those are all the various options you can do. And here we just have the replica parameter. And here the map, I'm going to just prefix with the PDB name from the source. Okay, and then basically that says whatever you send from source, you are replicating that into this PDB I'm logging in. Okay, and just create and run. So the replicate is up and running. And let's go check on the detail for this replicate. And the same thing, the process information, checkpoint, statistics, parameters, that's what we just did just now, and a report, that's the report file of the replicate. Okay, so everything's up and running. So now the extract is running, replicate is running, let's do some transaction to those source table and target table and see how that things go. So here, this is already logging into the source, SQL+, right? So let me also log into the target here. Okay, so this target. So right now, I think all the tables are empty. Okay. Okay. So the same thing here. Everything's empty. And I have a small script here to try to populate the data into this table. So let me just do my script. So what this does is it will populate 500 inserts into both table. Every 50 inserts, it will commit. And then let's check on the source. Okay, 500 in there, 500 here. Okay, and then let's go to this particular monitor window. Okay, if we go to see the detail of the extract, the statistics, see 500 already get captured, center trail file. And then the same thing if we go to the replicate, go to the details, to the statistics, 500 get applied, right? And then if you come into the target, you do a select 500 here, 500 here, right? And then if you want to create a new table, it actually will be also get created on the target. Okay, so that's the source. So on the target, it's there already. And so this shows you how the replication was created. And also there's some quite useful tools on this microservice architecture. And if you look, there is a performance metric server. If you log into the performance metric server, it has various performance you can take a look. For example, let's take a look at the extract performance. It has all the various numbers and the diagrams showing you how the extract is doing, right? So if now I do more transactions on the source, let me just let stabilize, okay? And then let me come back here on the source. If I do large transaction here, like 5,000, 100, boom, okay? And we come back to this monitor, you can see suddenly everything starts jumping up because that large data get coming in. And then you will see the I/O, see the CPU, and see all these count have a peak. And by now, it's already finished processing that transaction. So if you come into the target, do the select count star from T customer, it's already there. And then you will see the same jump for the replicate as well. Hopefully it's still there. Let me just go back. Go to the replicate. Yeah, it's already passed. So right now you probably don't see anything. I can do another thing, do another big transaction. You can see the sudden jump on the replicates, the I/O and CPU, all this. Let me just do this again here. I just need to wait here to see the big transaction coming in. You will see the replicate will start pushing it up. See, this peak is coming up. That's where we receive that 6,000 inserts for both tables, and then coming and finish processing. Okay, because my testing system is a small one, so I don't want to overload, to flooding the system. So I only do a small transaction. But if you have a big system, you do all those uh, big batch job, you will actually be able to see all this peak here. And it's very useful because it gives you the thread performance to let you know each thread what they are doing. And if you see any performance issue, you can basically come in to monitor all the different threads and see which thread is using most of the resource or getting stuck, right? And also have the status configuration, all the database statistics. This give you all the different informations. And here it's counted 23,000 inserts processed by this replicate, right? So we did the first we did like a couple hundred, and then there's 5,000, 6,000 for two tables. So those are all these database statistics can give to you. So that is how you can use this microservice architecture to configure the extract and replicate and deliver the real-time replication like what shows in this particular diagram. Okay, and so this is all I want to show you today. And thanks again for your time. Again, my name is Werner, and I am the product manager for the GoldenGate product. And thank you, and have a nice day.
Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning in to this edition of the GoldenGate Tech Talk series. Be sure to check out all the other cool Tech Talks that are out there and stay tuned for more as they become available.